Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of my podcast, Flowering into 5D. Today, I have an amazing person on with me. Her name is Empress Sparkle, also known as Amy, but Empress Sparkle. So, before we get into it, I'll just tell you a little bit about her and then we'll just vibe from there. So, she is a witch, a Hellenist, and a clairvoyant who specializes in energy. She is trying to show people how loving their own energy and having loving energy around them is the way to be. So, hey, I'm there for that. Absolutely.
Hello, lovely. Hello. How are you
Yay.
today?
I am so good. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good, sweet. I'm good.
Yay.
I'm so excited for this. I do
Yay.
apologize. So yeah.
No, don't apologize. Like we're up here. We're all excited. Like as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
So
know, especially sort of like getting to talk about energies with you is I love it so much because like you just seem to get what I'm talking about, like sharing the love through energies, making sure we have nice clean energies. And I just love that.
yeah. I mean, I feel
um,
like it's so important to, cleanse your energy. I mean, honestly, it was really hot here today, where I'm at in Cambodia. And after my daughter went to sleep, I was like, it is time for a shower. And not just because I'm all like tired of being sweaty, but I just felt like the energy needed a cleanse.
Yeah, so this is actually one of the things that I actually promote. So it's strange you bring that up. A lot of people talk about with me with meditation and how do I cleanse my energy. And one of the massive things I do for cleansing energy is actually sit in a bath for about
Mm,
2 hours. I have one bath a week where I literally meditate for an hour while I'm in the bath,
amazing.
just totally out of it, cleansing my energy, getting rid of all that negative energy. Because I think what people don't realize sometimes with energy is we hold on to negative energy. So even if we do cleanse daily and we do get rid of it daily, and so I teach a program where I teach people how, even when they're driving, they can get rid of negative energy. They can go into sort of like a midi meditative state
Mhm.
and get rid of negative energy even while they're driving. So they're not swearing at other drivers and stuff like that,
Yeah,
causing
definitely.
road rage. Um, and I think this is one of the things that for me, people don't get actually something as simple as a shower, as a bath, how actually helpful that is to cleanse our energy.
Mhm.
Even, one of my children, she will have a 3, 4 hour bath. She
Mhm.
will be happily act as if it's the pool. And
I
she
love
doesn't
that.
realize naturally how she's actually cleansing her energy. And I
Mhm.
love it because it's like children know.
Yes. Yes. Children are the teachers, like that's such a like, I mean, not to be like, I just realized this, but as I have been a parent and just experiencing parenthood, I really am reassured by this information that I received a long time ago that children are the teachers and we need to listen to them.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So this is one thing actually I noticed when I was filling your form in, it said about parenting. And this is one thing that we never actually discussed before. And I was
Ooh.
like, this is actually something I would love to say because parenting a child, I've got 3 children, two are on spectrum, and they can bring so much new light if we let their energy flow
Mhm.
rather than close it up.
Mhm.
And they seem to know naturally how to cleanse their energies. As I said, my daughter goes into the bath for 3, 4 hours, or suddenly she'll come to me and say, Mum, I need to go outside and sit outside. She
Mhm.
doesn't know why she needs to do this. She doesn't understand why she needs to do this. She just knows that she needs to do it.
Mhm.
And it's like, it's amazing how it wasn't until I think my eldest was about 6, 7 that I realized you're onto something. You're onto something. Hold on. Because when I go outside myself and I sit on the grass, all of a sudden I'm like, You know, and I think this is the thing that for me, we've got so much to learn, not just from each other, but
Mhm.
also from children.
Mhm.
And as a parent, just watching your children grow, watching them expand their energies, I just love it. Yeah, sorry.
No, no, don't apologize. I love it too. I'm right here with you.
Yeah. So for me, it's sort of like one of the things that I think we need to realize with energies, and especially when we're closing them up
Mhm.
for children. I'm trying not too much to go the home ed way because I'm a home educating mum.
Mhm.
So I'm trying not to too much with that way. But I think teaching them, like everyone goes to me, oh, I must be teaching my children the Hellenist way. And I'm like,
Mm.
no, I actually don't go, because once they can divinate, which obviously children can't divinate,
Mhm.
they're too, I don't want to say inexperienced, but they can bring stuff in that's
Mm.
worrying, if that
Mhm.
makes sense, because they
Mhm.
are so open.
Mhm.
So I don't ever suggest to people that they get their children to divinate. So please
Mm.
never get your children to divinate yet. Once they've learned their boundaries, they've put their force up, because their souls are white, no
Mhm.
matter what. It's very
Mhm.
rare to meet a child where they've got grey and black souls. I better actually explain that better now. I've just realised that. So I see souls. So I see the energy from your souls. So I see it as white, grey, and black.
Mhm.
And this sort of goes with the Hellenist spiritual beliefs as well. So basically, a white soul is someone who is very hubris.
Mhm.
So very much out there to give to people, very much out there wanting to love people, very much out there wanting to just be kind, really.
Mhm.
Whereas a grey soul can be someone with too much trauma, or they may be someone that's holding on to a lot of guilt. Revenge can sometimes start to tilt the soul into black
Mm.
when they, and you start to see this little bit of blackness coming into the soul.
Mm.
And then black souls are shadow men. They are the
Mm.
people that were here that are just evil, is the way I'm
Mm.
going to say it. I won't
Yeah.
swear, but they're just nasty, nasty people.
Mhm.
And for me, children don't have that soul.
Right.
They are clean from the start,
Yes.
if that makes sense. It's
Completely.
and I feel like we should encourage that.
Mhm.
I do find in the Western school systems we seem to disencourage that,
Mm.
and we
Mhm.
seem to take that away from them.
Mhm.
Um, but I feel like we are getting back to a point where we're realizing actually we've done too much of taking this away from children. I and their souls deserve to be as bright as they can forever, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Give them the start from the beginning so that they don't have to go and work on their deconditioning, to take it to a, human design perspective for a second. It's the act of deconditioning is just basically removing all the layers that have been put on you by other people and time and experiences and whatnot. And if we can avoid putting that on in the first place, then how much of an advantage are our children going to have when they're able to just be themselves from the jump? Like, I'm like, yes to this.
Exactly, lovely. And that is why when, I don't force my girls down the Hellenist route, they don't have
Mhm.
to worship with me or anything like that. But I do teach them things like the hubris. I'm a massive believer of that. You
Mhm.
know, if I'm walking past someone and I have a tiny bit of change, I will pass it to that
Mhm.
person, because I know compared to me, they're most probably in more of a desperate need.
Mm.
Or if we're walking past someone and they need help, we will help them.
Mhm.
My neighbours know they can knock on my door. If
Mhm.
they needed me, they could knock on my door. And I believe by showing these actions, as well as allowing children to cleanse their energy, as well as the fact it making me look good in the gods and goddesses' eyes, I'm not going to lie, it also helps for us to build our energy up, ready for departure. I hold my hands up from here because we need to remember we're not always going to be here, sadly. No matter how much we want to always be on this earth with our children and stuff, we're not going to be. So once we depart here as well, so I'm a massive believer of that, because obviously the underworld, unlike Christian beliefs, we actually have 3 stages of the underworld, and this is how everything interlinks. So I do apologize, this is the way my brain works. We have 3 parts of the underworld, which is Tartarus, which is our version of hell. And then we have the meadows, which is really weird because my happy place is a meadow. Wow. So I'm always like, I can't wait to go to the meadows. And everyone's like, that's not right. You shouldn't be thinking like that. And I'm like, yeah, but just to spend eternity in the meadows, just sitting there chilling. Yes. And people are like, what? And that's where sort of like your normal souls would go. And then you've got places like where the heroes would go. So the ones that you hear from the myths, which is asylum. Okay. With an E, not an asylum, asylum.
Okay.
And they will go to sort of like there, which is like this, they're on the verge of being a god, is the way to word it, I think.
Okay.
And this is why I'm sort of like a big believer of keeping the kids not clean. They're allowed to do mistakes. They are allowed to do mistakes, but it's teaching them how to correct that mistake, guiding them how to correct it, how to say sorry, how to show like a hubris act, so to speak, sort of like, you know, say if they caught someone or they got so frustrated that they hit someone, teaching them that they have to go and say sorry, you know, but at the same time, it's about teaching them that they don't have to take crap.
Yeah.
Sorry for swearing. Like some people will see that as a swear word. You know, my daughter's going through it at the minute with a teacher. He thinks he's Mr. Right constantly. We have a massive problem with this. And I keep saying to her, you're going to be fine, baby, because you're not taking the crap. You are defending yourself. And she's like, yeah, but I can feel it darkening my energy, Mum. I can feel it pulling me down. And I'm like, you know the techniques. You know how to deal with this. And she's like, but I don't understand why he's doing it to me. And this is where I have to teach her then about vampire suckers.
Yes.
And I'm like, he knows you've got a pure energy. He wants that. He wants to take that. And then rather than him actually own his actions, so this is how I know that he's a vampire sucker, rather than him own his actions, he's going, well, it's the autism. I can't help it because of the autism. And I'm like, well, actually, you're allowing one child to break the rules, but not another child to break the rules. So I know that's not the autism.
Yeah.
I live with a low functioning autistic child. Well, she's not a child, she's 19, but to me she is. And so I sit there going, and I keep trying to explain to her, even though she knows what a vampire sucker is because she's 17 now. And I keep saying to her, he just wants your pure energy because he can see you're quite white energied. Because I often cleanse her, I often do Reiki on her and stuff like that, so to keep her energy really good. And I just sit there going, he just wants your good energy, baby. There's nothing else that I can really do about it until the school deal with this situation that's going on. But sadly, I do find in that environment, there's a lot of energy suckers.
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, you know, some people, not everyone, but some people get into teaching positions because they like the feeling of power, right? And like children are vulnerable and
Yes.
they maybe, I mean, again, this isn't everybody, but some people like to get into positions of authority over people who are not as powerful as them and exploit that. And
And
yeah,
this is that is so right. And for my children, for children that I find that have been brought up this way, like the way we're bringing up our children, I do personally find that these people seem to pick on them
yeah.
as such. Not, I'm not going to use the term bully because it's not bullying,
Mm,
but I'm going to use the term pick on them. It's
mhm,
like they can't control them because they're secure in who they are,
yeah.
and they do not like that.
Yeah, that's exactly
Um,
right.
and sadly, this is hard, I think, sometimes as a mum to watch our children go through. And
Hmm.
people are most probably thinking, how come you're telling your child still to go to class? And I'm like, because she needs to learn.
Well, that's exactly right, because that's how life is, unfortunately. And it's up to us as parents to teach our children the tools and give them the guidance so that they eventually, as you said, we're not going to be on this planet forever. So, you know, we can't always be there for them. So to give them the tools now and unfortunately give them some experiences that may or may not be wonderful, it's important. That's life. You know, it's to take it really quick to I have a play group for kids ages 2 to 6. And, you know, a lot of the kids, we have a responsibility chart where, you know, like this person rings the triangle because we don't shout at the playhouse. It's called the Pineapple Playhouse. But
Oh, I
anyways,
love it.
yeah. So, you know, there's like this person will ring the triangle and this person will stack the stools and this person will spray the table. And, you know, it's like a full chart.
Yeah.
And it changes every day. And, you know, some of the kids, including my own daughter, will say to me, well, I want to bring the snack today, or, well, I want to do this. I want to ring the triangle. And I'm like, no, guys, like this is not how it works. And I'm not choosing either. To be honest with you, I'm letting the divine choose. I'm just shuffling and I'm like, and this person does this and this person does this. I'm not trying to choose and make enemies, you know? So
Yeah.
it's, you know, but sometimes people get upset. They're like, but I like, even actually my daughter, I think 2 days ago had a bit of a tantrum about it. She's like, I want to bring the snack. And sorry, you don't get to bring the snack today. That's not how it works. You know, that's not how life works.
Exactly. And this is what's important. And, you know, important, not imputant. Why did I say that? Important. Because I do feel like with children, um, because sometimes they don't understand around us, they don't understand not how to mingle as
Mm,
such. I don't want to say not how to mingle, but they don't understand, well, why do I have to take a turn?
mhm,
You know, they don't understand that. They don't understand the importance of these little jobs as well,
mhm,
if that makes sense. So it's sort of like getting them round, and that helps their energy as well, to be
mhm,
honest, because it shows them how helping. I
mhm,
love it when they do that sort of thing, because I when we used to do the home ed groups massively, my youngest is now 11,
mhm,
12,
mhm.
12.
She's 12.
Yeah, 12. She killed me for forgetting that. She's now 12, and basically she's like, I don't want to do homemade groups anymore, mum. I've got
Mhm,
my group of friends. I'm happy with meeting up with them. I'm too big to meet up at these play parks and do
mhm,
all this. And I'm like, that's fine, baby girl. You know, if that's where you feel it is, that's fine. But when she was younger, watching how they would have these lists and how she would actually go and help other children. So she'd finish her chore
mhm.
and then go and help other children. I used to sit there like, I'm doing my job right. I'm doing my job
Yes.
right.
Yes.
But then there would be days where she'd be like, just sat there, done her chore and just sat there.
Mhm.
And I'll be like, come on, kid. Where's the helpful girl gone? But I did slowly cotton on though. Sometimes that is because kids are drawn to certain children.
Mm,
This is why another thing I don't agree with schools in some ways here in the UK, because they force friendships. It's not a friendship that's built, they force them.
mm-hmm.
And I do feel what you may have found on that day, which you may not have noticed, is her little buddy was doing something at the opposite side of the class. So the actual thing she may not have wanted was to be separated from her friend, and it's little things. Oh my God, I sound like I really people watch, don't I? I've just realized that this is the things that people don't realize, which when I used to watch my daughter, well, all three of them, I used to go, oh, that's why she's unhappy. Even my 17-year-old now, she'll message me and she's had a really rubbish day. And I go, right, which one of your friends weren't in? And she go, how do you know, Mum? And I'm like, because they make these connections. And I think this is another thing with energy. We seem to glue to energy, sort of like connect through it without even know, as children, without even knowing. And I think this is another thing that sort of amazes me with them when they're doing this sort of stuff. And I've realized I am a people watcher, and you do watch them. It's amazing to watch it, and I bet now you're going to watch now. Next time she has a temper tantrum, what's her mate doing? What's her bestie doing?
What's going on over here?
Yeah. And you might find that there's actually someone that she's not as keen doing a job close to her. And that could be just simple the fact. It's a bit like myself now doing all these podcasts. I'm finding there's some people like yourself, Sam, which I really glue with. I'm really like, oh yeah, I absolutely love. Whereas there's some people where I'm like, oh, actually, I'm not going to do the podcast. And I think that's because for us, with the way we control our energies and the way we make sure they're cleansed and clean and stuff like that, we're sort of still very childlike. We've still got that natural intuition on what a person's going to be, whether they're going to suck our energy or whether they're going to, I don't know what the word is, whether they're not going to be as kind, if that makes sense. Like some people's, you can, I had a chat with someone the other day, and you can just feel the negativity. Like there was nothing positive. It was like, it didn't matter if I said to them, oh, this is what's brilliant about life. They would have found a negative point in it.
So heavy.
Does that? Yeah. And this is one of the things that for me personally, that's why with my girls, I've been the way I am. For me personally, I am the way I am, trying to get hubby there. But he was brought up strict Catholic. So it's really, really hard to get him there. Because obviously for him, this is a massive no, if that makes sense. He's slowly getting there. Slowly.
He'll get there.
Let me do Reiki.
Hey.
That's it. Because it's like, for me, it's just sort of like, yeah, I can't explain it. It's just amazing how the energies around us can affect us, even the energy of the sun. Like if the sun's having an off day, like
yeah, I know exactly what you mean. There is I don't know if you've heard, but in Hindu, I don't know what to call it, but in the religion of Hinduism, they have this information called the yugas, and it's like actually you probably do know something about this because they're okay. Anyways, now it's a little messy here. So there's like the 4 yugas, and the one that we were just in is called the Kali Yuga, which is like the lowest of the low frequency. And then it goes up to the highest, where everyone is like just, gods and goddesses, and we're all like high vibe all the time, and there's just all this amazing technology, and there's no, poverty, and this is, anyways, it's like a boom and bust cycle.
Yeah.
So anyways, I just forgot where I was going with this, but it's super interesting to me to read about this, because it's actually a bit contested in when the Kali Yuga actually started, or when is it done. Some people are saying, hey, we still have like 400,000 more years to go. What are you talking about? And some people are saying, well, actually it just finished, and now we're, making our way back to the golden age, if you will.
Oh, I hope so, because I tell you
so
what,
too.
the energy that's been going on since the beginning of this year has been rubbish.
Yeah.
I have felt like I'm on a roller coaster.
I know, that's where I was going with it. So what somebody found is, since this Kali Yuga has finished, which apparently it was the end of March of this year, which I personally felt a shift around that time. Like I was like, something feels a little bit lighter all of a sudden. I can't explain it, but and apparently once that happened, the central black hole in our solar system actually activated and has been like sending all these like crazy energetic flares. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and be like scientific with it and be like, and I'll tell you that all I know is I read this and I was like, I feel it. I totally feel it.
Yes.
Like, I feel the difference between like then to now, beginning of this year to end of March to now. Like, it's just like, I feel like I'm on this like wild,
roller coaster
ride. Yes.
No, I completely agree. This is something that I've spoke about with my followers on plenty of times. I'm like, and everyone's like, it's a retrograde. And I'm like, no, this is worse than that.
It's deeper.
I'm like, this is deeper than that. And everyone's like, no, it's not. It's not deeper than that. I'm like, no, there's something gone wrong. There is something gone wrong. And I had a massive spout of depression over January, and I was like, what why am I here? What's going on mentally for me to be this down? And I didn't actually know about this, so I'm actually like, whoa, this actually makes sense.
Yes, and I should tell you as well, I'll send you the information about the book if anybody's interested. It's called Yugas, and it's by Bibu Dev Misra. I'll send you more information about it later. But in his findings, the reason why I said you should know about this maybe is that in his findings it has the four yugs or yugas, and then it has a time of fire, like a cleansing of the earth of fire, and then it has the four yugas, and then the cleansing of the earth with ice and water.
Water. Yeah.
So, and this was supposed to do with I don't know about like Hellenistic, but this is like something from ancient Greece that they said that this happened, is this major cleansing with water, this major cleansing with fire of the planet. So, right? Like,
yes, we did have that. So basically, I know everyone knows the story of Noah and the Ark, but we actually in Greece had our own flood. So Zeus flooded the land himself to cleanse us all because we had started to come very dirty. Basically, Zeus hates civilization, by the way. He absolutely hates civilization. He doesn't like the greed and the forgetting of the gods. So not just him, the forgetting of the gods. So he is like, he doesn't like civilization because he knew you were going to get your Elon Musks, that thought they were bigger and better than him.
Right.
So I love this because we did as well. He did cleanse the earth with fire. And people think literally like brush fires and stuff like that. Everyone think literally, but it wasn't literally. It was a Trojan War.
Wow. Okay.
So it was sort of like that fire. We'd come that low in civilization that we had a massive war, 100-year war. Because everyone thinks that the Trojan War was literally, because of the films, just this little tiny, and it's like, no, it's not. It's actually a massive war. That's why there's 8 books on it.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is the thing that people don't see. So I actually, as soon as you said that, I was like, oh my goodness. So we don't have a certain name for it in
Mhm.
Hellenism. We don't have a
Okay.
certain name for it. But I totally mean what you're saying. So basically, there is a theory go around that this is going to happen. The cleansing of water is going to happen within the next sort of like 50, 60 years.
Okay.
Um, so this is one of the reasons why I personally don't believe in global warming,
Okay.
which sounds really weird that I don't believe in global warming, because if we look at the earth, that
Mhm.
shows the earth cycle. We had the
Mm,
ice age, we then
mhm,
heat right up,
mhm,
we then have another ice age, we then heat right up.
mhm,
And these are, the Hindus are correct, they're every
mhm,
2000 to 4000 years.
mhm.
When you look at them, they are every 2000 to 4000 years. So it's like the gods and goddesses go, right, we've had enough of you. We're going to sort you out. We're going to come to a team and sort you all out. And this is the way they do it. And then obviously we have our plagues in between to
Mhm,
also try and help sort us out. I do believe in that. And
mhm.
people do look at me like I'm insane when I talk about that. I will admit it. But to me, when you actually look at it all,
Mhm,
like, and you look at the earth cycle and you actually research history, I'm a
mhm,
massive history buff,
mhm.
you can actually see it. The
Yeah.
medieval times, we were in an ice age.
Mhm.
4,000 years before that, we were in another ice age. So when you actually look at it and you go, they have tried to cleanse us a few
Definitely.
times. They
Definitely.
have tried to cleanse us. So I do love that. I'm definitely going to need to read that book.
Yes. Yes. Yeah,
Definitely going to have to.
I've started it. I have not finished it, to be completely honest. I watched an interview with Bibu Misra, who kind of gave like the quick little explanation, and I was like, oh my gosh, whoa, I can't wait to like dive into this book. So yeah, I'll send you the name and everything like that. Cause yeah,
Yeah.
I just love when
I
like all these ancient civilizations, and I mean, I know Hinduism is a religion and not a civilization, but hello. But I love when all of this ancient knowledge just comes together from different places, because it's like it just reminds me that we're all connected, and this
one
isn't we're not all like over here, like it's just
was it. No, and I completely agree with that, because my daughter is obsessed with the fact there's actually only one God, with
mm,
little gods coming off, a bit
mhm,
like in a way Greek mythology is. She believes that all gods are real, and the reason she believes they're all real is because she can interlink them. If
mhm,
we look at Jesus with Heracles,
mhm,
and then if we look at Jesus and Heracles and put them with Thor,
mhm,
she says their story is more or less the same, mum. So
mm,
she believes everything, even though everything, she just believes that the stories have been retold.
right.
So that sector of people will believe it.
Ooh, I love that.
Exactly. It's amazing. Honestly, I love having an autistic daughter, because the stuff they come out with, you're just like, actually, that makes sense. That makes, the fact of Hindu have that story about the earth being cleansed with water.
Mhm,
Ancient Greek have the story about the earth being, Bible has the story about it being cleansed with water.
mhm.
Japan does as well. So there's a myth in Japan for it as well.
Oh.
You just go,
What has been kept
okay.
from us? That's what I'm always like. What has been kept from us? Like a lot, you know. But we're finding out. We're
Yeah.
gonna find out.
See, this is it. We won't find out till obviously after we pass, most probably, or even then, they still possibly keep us a little bit in the dark. I hold my hands
Mm.
up, because I have met spirits where they've even tried to stop their family and friends to come through because they're Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh wow.
So they're literally like, no.
No.
I get that a lot with spirits that like to stand in the corner and just stare at me. And I'm
Mm.
like, what's your problem? And then I sort of intuitively connect with them and I'm like, you don't believe that you're a spirit.
Mm.
That's your problem.
Mm.
And that is just because they're religious views here on earth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think this is a thing for me. Religion does affect us after life, if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but my little girl, with the way she thinks, I go, you're going to end up in the stars. You're going to end up in the stars, baby girl, because I don't know where else you're going to go. Like, I'm like, you're too higher power thinking.
Mm.
And she is the one that's obsessed with Greek mythology, and she got me really into it. And for me, when she was teaching me some of that, sounds weird, doesn't it? Having a 6-year-old teach you Greek mythology.
No.
Um, when she was teaching me some of it, I sat there and I was mesmerized by it. Like, I've always believed in them, but
Mm-hmm.
I was mesmerized by her thoughts of it and stuff like that.
I love it.
Um,
I'll have to pause you right there though, because we're about to run out of time. I'm sorry to be like, okay, but let me just say really quick, you can find Empress Sparkle on Instagram, Empress Sparkle 2024. I want to keep this conversation going on another one because I'm living for this.
no problem, sweet.
Yes, thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll talk again soon.
Speak to you soon, lovely.
Bye.
Bye.